video about what's wrong with OnePlus Nord, but the phone is actually really good at its price because of Oxygen OS and OnePlus brand value. So in this video, let's take a closer look at the OnePlus Nord. Now do make a note that this phone is not owned by me. Instead, this is owned by one of my friend who was kind enough to send me some of video samples and pictures. Now it's not like I have just got the videos and picture samples and I am directly reviewing it. I have talked with him for hours and gathered his feedback on the OnePlus Nord, and I am not going to talk about its specification. Instead, I will just talk about his user experience and how does he feel after using the OnePlus Nord. His name is Sujal Kumar. His Instagram account is in the description box below. Now give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Okay, so in this year, there have been multiple giant phones with bigger display and heavy battery, which makes the phone ultimately thick and bulky, but the OnePlus Nord has made a change. The phone is really lightweight and is comfortable to hold in hand because of its curved back. Of course, I know that the frame is made up of plastic. A aluminum frame would still be better as it is present on K20 Pro and X2 Pro, but it's not a deal breaker or so. The back is made up of glass, which makes the phone slippery, so you have to use a case or skin. You will not get to know about the frame anymore after applying the skin or case. Phone is not meant to be used single-handed because of its big screen, but it's actually comfortable to hold and carry in your hand. Talking about physical overview, at bottom you get speaker, USB-C port, microphone, RIP 3.5mm jack, and SIM card tray. On left hand side you have volume rockers, on top you have noise cancellation microphone, and on right hand side you have alert slider and power button. The camera bump is there, but the phone will not wobble when kept on plain surface because it's on left side. It has two color, the blue one which avoids fingerprint on back and looks unique, and grey which looks really premium and classy but attracts a lot of fingerprints. It's up to your preference. So the design of Nord is actually really good and feels premium, and I liked it. So all the specs of display are mentioned right here. You can check it out. But actually in real time the quality of display is really impressive. The configuration is perfect. They have given an AMOLED display with 90Hz refresh rate instead of an LCD with 120Hz. Quality of display is actually really good. The blacks are deep, colors are punchy, and due to high refresh rate, the display feels much more snappier and faster to the eyes. The bezels are really thin, and that dual punch hole will not be noticed after 2 to 3 days of usage. But one thing which I found is due to that hole punch on left side, it actually takes a lot of space and there is no space for 3 to 4 notification symbols. The taskbar looks really messy or filled up to the brim. Now it has some display issues like hole punch banding, green or pink tint, but it's actually not noticeable until you use the phone at night on really minimum brightness. It's just the case when phone is at 90Hz refresh rate. So I don't think that it's a major problem because every AMOLED display at this price tag with high refresh rate has this problem. So in terms of display, it is actually really good and perfect combination in my opinion. Now OnePlus phones are actually considered at the top position when it comes to performance, but it's not the case with OnePlus Nord. The chipset used is not a flagship but actually really good. So performance is divided into two parts, hardware and software. Hardware wise, as I said, it's not a flagship but actually really capable, and when coupled with that 90Hz refresh rate, it feels really smooth and day-to-day tasks are like a breeze. But for gaming the chipset is not that much great. It's equal to Snapdragon 730G, but actually the place where Nord just beats other phone even with Snapdragon 855 Plus chipset is software experience. The Oxygen OS is a really beautiful and stock Android-like skin with no bloatware or ad, but highly customizable. And because of this premium software experience and stability, the performance feels much more superior. And OnePlus is actually really good when it comes to software support because they are giving support for at least 2 years for OnePlus Nord. So in terms of performance, it actually performs really well, means for a normal person, but it's not meant to be used as a gaming phone. So in terms of camera, companies advertising it as a flagship camera, but it's not true. The sensor used is really good. Now looking at some daylight shots, you can see that pictures are well detailed, dynamic range is managed well, but colors in some scenarios are boosted. Means there is some extra contrast added which makes the picture lose in shadow and highlights. But overall photos from main camera turn out to be good. Talking about ultra wide angle shots, the picture do become a little softer, but there is no major color shift between main and ultra wide shots. But it cannot manage highlights and shadows well. Means it makes the tree darker in this scenario and adds a little contrast. Portrait shot surprisingly turned out to be good and improved. Actually, there was a software update available, and after updating it, the portrait image turned out to be good. Edge detection was really impressive, but we were not able to test it in harsh sunlight. But I found it improved. The other two cameras are not useful at all. 48 megapixel shots were crisp and looked good. Moving to low lighting condition, actually here is where OnePlus Nord does not perform good. I don't know why, but there is this bluish tint in every picture which does not look good, and the white balance is messed up. If we compare the shot with Gcam, the Gcam image looks much more natural to eyes. After enabling night mode, the picture looks much more brighter, but the image is still softer though. Talking about front camera, now the dual camera are actually useful. The shot from main front camera was really good and dynamic range was managed really well. Colors look really good and there was no overexposed face or sky. But in ultra wide angle shots, the sky was fully overexposed, but face was quite good exposed. So the front camera is actually good. Looking at some video samples from rear camera, 4K 30 fps video looks like it is gliding through the road because of optical image stabilization, and quality is really good. 1080p 60 fps also looks really good, and due to high fps it feels much more smoother. Talking about front camera video, the quality is good, and for some weird reason the front camera can shoot up to 4K 60 fps, which is strange, but there is no stabilization in front camera. So in terms of camera, I could say that due to the latest software update, it has improved in portrait shots, but it still needs some optimization, especially in low light. But I could say that for videos, this phone is absolutely good, especially for vloggers. Now it has got a really good OLED display with 90Hz refresh rate, and you might be thinking that the battery life on this would be mediocre because it has got a 4100 mAh cell, which is a little small, but it's not the case because in this screenshot you can see that screen on time which you are getting is 8 hours, which is really impressive. The usage was mediocre though. One thing to note is this 8 hours of screen on time can be achieved only when you don't game. When my friend used to game, the screen on time he was getting was around 6.5 to 7 hours, which is really okay because games like PUBG Mobile consume a lot of battery. But still, I could say that in terms of battery, phone is well optimized and performs really good. Now battery life on this phone is really good, and that's the same case with charging as well. It has got the same Warp Charge 30T which you get with OnePlus 8 series, and it charges the phone from 0 to 100 within 1 hour 10 minutes, which is really good. So no complaints in terms of battery and charging. Now before getting to conclusion, let's talk about some other things like fingerprint scanner speed. It's actually fast but not the fastest, and opens every single time. Speakers are loud but they sound actually like a mid-range smartphone, but it's fine. Also the phone does not have a SD card slot, neither dedicated nor hybrid, means you have to stick up with the original inbuilt storage. So I would recommend to get a 128 or 256 GB variant only. Moving to the conclusion that how is the phone and who should get it? Answer is simple. If you use your phone like a casual user, means use social media, watch content and game for a really small span of time, and you care about software experience, then just put your money and get the OnePlus Nord. But yes, there is always a but. If your top priority is performance and gaming, then just don't get it, go with K20 Pro instead, because you get higher FPS and much more stable experience if we consider PUBG. The Snapdragon 765G actually performs really similar to 730G in terms of gaming, but still I think that this phone is really good smartphone with good features, Oxygen OS, satisfaction of using a OnePlus smartphone. With that said, that's pretty much it for this video. Huge thanks to my friend Sujal for sharing his experience and footages with me so that I could review it. Give this video a huge fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.